활동을 하고 있는데요.
네.
외국 사람들이 그리스에 도착해서 배우는 첫 단어가 바로 시가라는 단어예요.
take their seats. We're going to be joined by a very distinguished guest in a moment who will address the council, and then we're going to be making a number of presentations to some very distinguished citizens who have joined us this morning. So let me ask if the council members and the audience would come to attention, and we're going to be joined by Mayor Reardon and the Honorable Mayor of the City of Berlin, our sister city, and they will be addressing you in a moment. So if we can have some attention. It's nice to have new blood on the council here. Members of the City Council and distinguished guests, we have with us a very, very distinguished man who is the governing mayor of the city of Berlin. Actually, Berlin is a city and a state, hence he's both the mayor and the governing mayor. As you know, Berlin is our sister city, and a sister city that has meant a lot to us, just as we have meant to them. It's hard to imagine a city, perhaps other than Los Angeles, that are similar to Los Angeles, that is undergoing the kind of remarkable change, both in terms of physically and its infrastructure and its ability to embrace an increasingly diverse population. And of course, we know as when the wall fell and reunification has occurred, the challenge to a city like Berlin to deal with reunification and to also become, as it will become next year, the capital of the country, of the nation, and at the same time do so with an ever-increasingly and diverse population. Berlin has the most diverse population of any city in Germany. To go to Berlin is something remarkable. Sometimes I sit here and I say, we think it's amazing when we accomplish a project or two. You go to Berlin and there must be 500 major projects going on at once, an entire new infrastructure, a new physical plant, and an amazing embrace of different people from entirely different experiences who've come together as one. But what impressed me the most was the warmth and the importance that the people of Berlin placed on their friendship with Los Angeles. When I was there to celebrate last year I was amazed at how warm and welcome the people of Berlin thought about the people of Los Angeles. I know that we knew that after the earthquake, when the people of Berlin went and collected money, even pensioners who took money out of their savings so that to help the people here after the earthquake, and they came with $500,000 raised by the citizens of Berlin to help the people of this city deal with the aftermath of the earthquake. I thought that that was a remarkable gesture. I thought that that was because it came from the people themselves. And I saw that when I was there this year to put the sign up in the plaza, in the square that has now been named after Los Angeles. And the warmth again and the welcoming of the people and the understanding that while we've had a great relationship, we're on the cusp, each of us are on the cusp of something great and something new. We know the changes that are going on in this city. You see the changes going on in Berlin, and it is natural that we be partners, because the challenge is to meet those changes and to do it in a way that is beneficial to all, and that all of us see are very, very similar in our cities. And it's one man, it's Mayor Deepkin, who I think has to be given so much credit. He has overseen, he was the mayor in the 80s for about 6 years. He went out of office and he became the mayor again in 1991. And he has overseen this entire dramatic change and transition that you see now in Berlin. He is a remarkable man. He is well liked by his people. He has results to show that are really extraordinary. And I think as we were talking last night at dinner, we're just really, however, at the point where we're going to rise to the next level in our relationship of our peoples and our cities. So I am honored that he has joined us here today. I've looked forward to this because he was a remarkable host when I was in Berlin. Before I do that, I want to introduce, obviously, a person who needs no introduction, but Mayor Reardon hosted this morning a breakfast at the Getty House and has warmly welcomed Mayor Deepkin. And let me first, at this point, turn this over to Mayor Reardon, who will make a special presentation, and then we will hear from the Honorable Mayor Deepkin. Mayor Reardon?
Thank you, Acting President. Do we pronounce your name Vox today or Wax? But Mayor Deepkin, welcome to the City of Angels. I hope that you will have time to see our great city, to see the great Getty Center, LA County Museum, MoCA, Hammer, to see our great beaches, our great mountains, and particularly to get a feel for the great ethnic diversity of our city, which makes us great. It's been about 30 years since we became a sister city with Berlin. And everybody knows we always love our sister the best. The people of Berlin and the people of Los Angeles are spiritually and culturally almost identical. And we're proud to be your sisters, we're proud to be your partner. At breakfast, Mayor Deepkin was telling us about the problems, or he didn't say problems, the challenges of uniting West Berlin with East Berlin, with the diversity of wages and other cultural diversities. But he has done a really magnificent job. So it's my great honor to introduce to you one of the great leaders in the world, a great mayor, a great lover of Berlin, and a great friend of Los Angeles, Mayor Eberhard Deepkin. Mayor.
Mr. President, Mayor Reardon, members of the Council, ladies and gentlemen. First, I thank you very much for this very warm welcome here in your city. you just mentioned that we have our official sister citizenship now since more than 30 years. And it was a development of all these years in a strong cooperation, in exchanging of the experiences in your great city and in the city of Berlin. And when I come here to Los Angeles, I have some topics. On the foreground, it's not only to come to new cooperations in the economic field, in culture, in social questions. We are, as a city of Berlin, we are interested to have more cooperation and exchanging of experiences in the fields of new techniques, in, for example, telecommunication, in biotechnologies, and in movies industries. And in the strong cooperation between our air systems, we are interested to hear what happened here in Los Angeles in that field. But in the foreground, I want to tell you something about the city and the new development in Berlin and in Europe, and much more, to say thanks to you, to the people of Los Angeles and the people in the United States of America. Because in this year, we have a very special anniversary. It's the 50th anniversary of the beginning of the airlift in Berlin. Now, 50 years ago, the Soviets decided to blockade the city and the people of Berlin. And it was necessary to bring all the goods to the city of Berlin by air. And it was a decision first made by the American government, by the American people, that this airlift was organized by the Americans, then in cooperation with the British and the French people. And we know that the surviving of Berlin in freedom was only possible with this airlift. And this airlift was the beginning of a new friendship between Germany and the Western world of values after the war. And with this airlift, there began a great story of success. This airlift was a story of success because the Western world succeeded. The blockade must be finished. And in the time after this blockade, with a lot of trouble, with a lot of problems, with building up of the wall, then the blockade and the wall was coming down. And it was possible to unify my city, my home city. And it was possible that we have a new a new chance for Europe in coming together between former East and former West. This against each other was from the bloc systems was finished. That's now 9 years ago, with coming down of the wall. But this story of success begins with the airlift, and it's finished with the new chances and with the new challenges in Europe. With a Europe without these different bloc systems, with less on borders. And so I want to say thanks to the people in the United States and in Los Angeles for all that, what was the friendship and the cooperation in the last decades. But it is not only a question of looking back, it's a question of looking forward to the future. And then we have to look for exchanging the experiences I just mentioned. And perhaps it is right to say one hope, to tell you one hope. I think if I come to this west coast of the United States, we have a special duty as the cities of Berlin and Los Angeles, that there are interest to each other between the West Coast, between California and Europe, not only to look to the Asia-Pacific room, but to cooperate that all in this, yes, in this community of Western values. That's democracy, that's freedom, that's the aim. And in Berlin we try to do our duty in these fields. And I think in this, all these challenges, these necessities of coming together between former East and former West in a divided city, we do our duty in coming together of the people with these very different experiences in totalitarianistic systems and in the democracies. And I think, and that is what I want to tell you, Berlin is now a city of a lot of challenges for the future. In the old traditional place in the center of Europe, in the ties between Paris and Moscow, in building up the communication systems in Europe. And today Berlin, of course, is a great construction site. But not only in new architecture, in building up new infrastructures, but in bringing together of the people in the former divided Europe. And I want to invite you to see the city and to take part in these great challenges for the future. I thank you very much for the lot of solidarity in the past, and I look forward to new cooperations, good cooperations, exchanging of ideas and people in the future. Thank you very much.
Mayor Deepkin, on behalf of all of my colleagues who are here today, and I'm going to ask you in a moment to come down and say, to introduce you to each of my colleagues who are here, let me present this to you as a token of our welcome and appreciation, and that we can be partners in this wonderful, wonderful challenge together.
Thank you very much.
Here, and I'd like to give you this medallion for Franklin Mint.
Oh, yeah. That's gorgeous.
They have in Los Angeles.
Thank you very much.
That's gorgeous.
Thank you.
You want to hold them in here? We'll put this down. We'll do the medallion. Here, we'll give this to you out there.
Can the council come back to order? We have a number of presentations. I'm going to begin with Mr. Bernsen for one of his presentations at this time, and then Councilwoman Misakowski for one of hers. And then I have a presentation, one of someone who must leave, and then we have many, many more. So, Mr. Bernsen?
Where's Ellen Stein? Ellen, are you here? Just you. Well, do I want to?
I know, man.
Yeah. Well, we'll call these other people up. Why don't we call them up here also? Would Daryl Brassfield come forward? Bob Gartner? David Sue? Aoife Kashefi, Bob Reese, Gary Solom, and Bob Steinbach, and Luke Zamperini. Okay. Members of the council, this is to recognize the work that was done by the Department of Public Works in dealing with some of the problems we had in our district from El Nino. In the early mornings of Friday, February 13th, 1998, the El Nino rainstorms saturated hills and a residential area of West Hills suddenly slipped away. Whereas representatives of the Los Angeles Public Works Department arrived to the scene with equipment and supplies needed to mitigate the precarious conditions. Without hesitation, representatives of the Public Works Department put in motion the forces that would ultimately bring the situation under control and eventually stabilize the immediate danger. As the day wore on and the real scope of the situation revealed itself, the individual personnel who were on site offered their expert opinions and discussed their concerns, ultimately developing a plan that would shore up precariously perched homes and cover the slide area with protective covering that would also help direct any additional rain into a field engineer system of pipes. Even the president of the Board of Public Works came to the site and to offer authority of her office for any of the needs of the field staff. Because of the professional, brave, and courageous actions of all personnel at the site, they stabilized the immediate hazard. No person was injured, and additional property damage was kept to the absolute minimum. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the adoption of this resolution, the Los Angeles City Council, along with Mayor Richard Reardon, highly commend the personnel from the Bureau of Public Works and the President of the Commission for displaying professionalism above and beyond the call of duty. Be it further resolved, the City Council and the Mayor thank these individuals for the courtesy and compassion for the homeowners who were so suddenly affected by this disaster. The individual departments has shown itself to be a valuable asset to the residents of our city. And I'd like to first present this to Ellen Stein, the President of the Commission, and I want to present these in just a moment to the people who were out there directing traffic and doing the work that was so desperately needed that morning. I know I arrived on the scene. I had come unfortunately from the hospital, having one of my surgeries on my lobotomy, and but I received a call from my office and drove directly to the scene and witnessed them in action. And believe me, they saved several other homes, and the care and the caring that was shown to the homeowners that were involved in there were something that was a credit to the City of Los Angeles. So let me now present this to Darrell Brassfield first. Darrell, congratulations. Bob Gardner. Bob, thank you, congratulations. David Suter. David's not here. You take this one, please. Okay. Ifa Kashefi.
Ifa Kashefi.
I'm sorry, I
Thank you.
mispronounced that.
Thank you very much.
Bob Reese. Bob, congratulations. Thank you. Gary Solomon. He's not here. Give me this one also. Bob Steinbach.
He's not here. He's doing the earthquake.
You must be Luke Zamperini.
That's right. Thank you very much.
By elimination.
By the
Thank
way,
you very much. We really appreciate what they have done. I'm going to ask Ellen just to say a brief word. I know we're bogged down with a lot of presentations today, but I think the work that they did there really needs to be recognized, and we're so doing today. Thank you very much for my district, for my constituents who had the problem, and for the City of Los Angeles.
And Mr. Bernstein, I think all of us who've had problems in our districts are equally grateful for the work that the city has done. It's nothing short of remarkable.
Thank you. I just want to say on behalf of the rest of the board how much we appreciate this. Excuse me. What we did that day is what we have really done all along in this situation. A lot of your council districts have been affected in one way or another by the terrible rains that we've had this year. And it is truly what we try to do every day, rain or shine, to get out and to make a difference in the lives of the people who live in this city. Unfortunately, at a time like this when there is a disaster, it's needed the most, and hopefully we can continue to respond in the same way and show the people that we are there to help them. And we're grateful for this recognition today, and we thank you very much, Councilman Bernstein.
Before you go, Councilman Fuhrer and Councilwoman Chick would like to make a few comments as well.
First, Hal, on behalf of all of us here, we do wish that the lobotomy had been successful, but I want to say very seriously that indeed, not only that day, but in the following days, in the continuing efforts of Public Works Building and Safety, the remarkable teamwork, having been at so many sites in my council district and Ellen remembers the series of phone calls back and forth to Public Works, Andrew remembers the series of discussions we had, and seeing in the field that day and in subsequent days the enormous energy and commitment of our public employees trying desperately to save people's homes, to gain access to houses that had been blocked because of landslides and other very serious problems. It was really heartening to see the city be able to pull together like this, and I think all of us in government aspire to see that model of teamwork, let alone the diligence and so forth required, to be replicated every day here. And let this be the way things always work here in the city. Thank you very much on behalf of all our constituents.
Well, thank you. I wanted to say that what happened at Napa Drive and what has happened in many other places in the city has really been a joint effort between Public Works and Building and Safety. And they were out there, and we really did do this together. And Andrew Edelman is here, and I'd like to share some of this recognition and praise with him. So thank you very much.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Fuhrer actually raised some of the points I wanted to make about the teamwork. I think also that often in the day-to-day work of Building and Safety, people are out there not so happy that you're coming and scrutinizing property and enforcing codes and directing them to do things, but it's exactly to try and avoid the kinds of catastrophes and tragedies that we're having, that Mother Nature gets involved in, and we're trying to do our best to prevent those. This kind of tragedy highlights the very reasons why we need those codes and regulations, and we need you doing your job all the time. I want to say thank you.
Thank you. I did not introduce Andrew Edelman, which I am going to do now. I did not have a certificate for him because he is, after all, the manager of the department, and it's expected of him. But I do want to express my appreciation to him. He was on the site also, and I'm very happy with the work he's done since he's come to Los Angeles. Andrew, you want to say a word?
Shortly. Thank you, Councilmember. I'm very proud of the team which is in front of you, which responded to the West Hill landslide, as well as many other teams in the Department of Building and Safety, which responded to various emergencies this winter. To give you an example of the dedication that the employees of Department of Building and Safety and Public Works displayed, Aoife Kashefi is a structural engineer. She worked 25 straight hours. Some of the other members of the team worked 27 straight hours, for example, Luke Zamperini and others. That is the kind of dedicated employees that we have, and I am very proud of them.
Thank you very much. Let's come back.
Thank you, Mr. Benson. Thank you, Ellen. The chair would like to recognize Councilwoman Misakowski for a very special presentation.
Come on forward. Thank you, Mr. President. Members of the Council, it gives me great pleasure today to introduce you another team. But unfortunately, this is a team that has been broken up. And it's been broken up for the best of reasons, and that's the reason that these two officers who are standing beside me, who were part of the Senior Lead Office of Police Officers enforcing community-based policing in the West Side, both advanced, both have been promoted to sergeants, and as a consequence have gotten transferred out of the West LA Division. We have, I'll go by in order of seniority, slight. We have with me Steve Cunningham and Bill Justice. Both of these officers, Steve was the Senior Lead Officer for Pacific Palisades for more than 10 years, and Bill was in the West LA office, and then the Brentwood Senior Lead Officer for a number of years as well. But what they have done, they truly exemplify the kind of community-based policing where community is the first word. They are very, very much honored and beloved in their communities, and it was only as a consequence of advancement that I think we allowed them to go on. And in fact, both of them are talking about finding ways to get back. I'd like to tell you a little bit about each of them. But the other thing I'd like to point out in general is that where we have listened recently to Chief Parks talk about his strategy for expanding community-based policing out of just the senior lead offices. These two officers who have been promoted to sergeants and are now in different divisions are going to be the best example of that, going out and spreading that technique, that knowledge, that commitment to the city, to the police department, to the people of the city of Los Angeles is just going to be the major beneficiary, that is all of us. Let me introduce you to each of them a little bit individually. On my left is Steve Cunningham. Steve is a 28-year veteran of the police department, and because of his exemplary performance of duty, he was recently promoted to the rank of sergeant and transferred to the Northeast Community Police Station. He has had a very remarkable history so far. He has clearly developed an outstanding rapport with both community organizations, clearly in the Pacific Palisades, consistently demonstrating a high degree of professionalism, helpfulness, problem solving, and willingness to participate in many, many issues that have made Pacific Palisades a safer and more peaceful community. He has been assigned a lot of different divisions and a lot of different units. He has worked with the West Bureau Crash Unit, traffic investigations. He is a training officer, and all of those brought him skills as to his senior lead officer assignment and to the one he's currently placed in. He's also a highly courageous officer who has twice been awarded the Police Star, once for pushing a citizen out of the way of an out-of-control car where the citizen was safe, but Steve got hit himself. And a second time, he was awarded the star for rescuing a suicidal man who was threatening to jump off of a balcony. His attributes as a police officer in all regards have been well recognized, and that if you look in his private personnel file within the police department, he's got over 150 commendations written by citizens in testimony to his fantastic work as a police officer. So I am very pleased to introduce him to you today and to recognize his outstanding performance of duty, particularly in his most recent assignment as not only the senior lead officer in Pacific Palisades, but he ran and headed up the whole senior lead office in the West LA Bureau. Steve? Thank you. Before we have Steve say a few words, let me introduce you to Bill Justice. Bill is a 22-year police veteran, and he too has been outstanding in his various assignments. Although he was recently senior lead in Brentwood, he spent a lot of time in the West LA Division as a traffic officer. So whenever we got the complaints about the citizens speeding, the need to have a real visible example of a police officer on the street, Bill was the one who was out there. He has worked hard to make Brentwood a safer and more peaceful community. He also had a little excitement. Being the Brentwood senior lead officer, over the last few years, as you know, we've had a trial that got a little bit of publicity in the news. Bill was the person out there at the scene working with the community in the aftermath of the paparazzi, the inundation that occurred in that Brentwood community, and having to draw some lines between where the police, the press could have access, but that the community still had some sense of peace of mind and making their community work for them. In his role as a Brentwood senior lead officer, Bill worked well with clearly all of the citizens and community organizations, demonstrating a caring, courteous, unselfish, friendly, and actually humorous attitude at times, which reflected well on the police department. During his tenure at West LA, he developed strong skills as a motorcycle officer, and for several years handled all traffic complaints west of the San Diego Freeway and north of the Santa Monica Freeway. And using this knowledge, he has been an instructor in the police department's use of radar to help enforce our speeding. Whereas Bill's attributes as a police officer have also been acknowledged by the inclusion of more than 100 favorable incidents and recommendations and commendations in his personnel file, which consistently describe him as tops in productivity. And he, as well as Steve, have both been selected as Officer of the Quarter in 1996. So they clearly represent the best of our department. So I'm very pleased to present this to him, resolving that we are commending him for his outstanding performance as senior lead officer in West LA, and wishing him best of luck in his new position as a sergeant in the Van Nuys Police Division.
Yay.
Bill?
Sergeant Justice, that's great.
Sergeant Justice, right. Okay, you want to say a few words? Go ahead.
What's your senior? Thank you for this. We don't do the job for things like this. We do the job because that's what we get paid to do. Sometimes when you're doing a job, we deal with situations that can become untasteful. Sometimes you have to deal with situations that you really don't want to be there. But we as police for the city of Los Angeles, we continue to walk the fence. We don't take sides, we just do the job that we're paid to do, and we appreciate today. Thank you.
I would just like to thank everyone for the recognition. It's something that we don't expect. We get paid to do our job every day, and I think you can tell we enjoy it very, very much, serving all the citizens of the city, and have done so for quite a number of years between us. But this is very, very nice, and thank you all. Appreciate it.
Thank you. We are really proud of you.
Mr. President, I would just like to mention, too, about Bill. We have another person who helps give him some sense of what the city is all about. Bill's mother-in-law is a person we all know very well around here, Barbara Blinderman. Oh, yes. Thank you. Come back. Thank you.
Thank you. The chair would like to recognize Councilman Wax.
Members of council, wanted to take a moment to say thank you to someone who has done so much for our community and our city and who is going to, I think, unfortunately be leaving. Most of you know how important I believe the arts are, particularly the arts in education and the arts in the lives of young people. And we have lamented time and again how the arts have unfortunately been put in the back burner in our school systems, not only in Los Angeles, but throughout the country. Thanks to people like Susan Chano, there at least has been a really meaningful community-based effort to try to make the arts a part of the educational career of young people. Susan is a magnificent teacher, but she is someone who has completely devoted herself to making sure that the arts are available to the young people in our community. What she has done at the McGroarty Arts Center, not only as an administrator in helping keep the place alive, especially as we've gone through the transition to our arts partner programs in developing the kind of structure that could support a program, but through her efforts, the quality and the quantity of the courses and the number of students and families that have been able to avail themselves of art instruction has grown dramatically. The numbers are really amazing. When you come out to Hunga for a meeting in the not-too-distant future, I'm hopeful that we can go to the McGroarty Arts Center and see the remarkable work that they do. And much of that has been the result of work by Susan. I just feel that the community and the city are enormously lucky that people who care enough about what they're doing and do it kind of with love and professionalism to make sure that anyone who possibly can be inspired so as to see and benefit from the rewards of having the arts as a part of their educational experience. We are so lucky to have had Susan Chano at McGroarty for all of these years. She is going to retire and leave the state, but I thought that before she did, she should come down here and at least be recognized, and a heartfelt thank you on behalf of all the lives that you have touched and the work that you have done for our city. It is a great honor for me, Susan, to be able to present this to you, not only on my behalf and behalf of all of my colleagues, but a very, very grateful number of people in Sunland Tujunga and surrounding communities who have benefited and have been enriched by the experience you've made possible for them, and for helping to keep with Isabel and others to keep those doors open out there. I wanted to present this to you. Hope you might say a few words and introduce your family and some of the people from the community who have come down with you today. Susan Chano.
Thank you, Joel. Thank you. It's truly an honor for me to represent Sunland Tujunga and Joel Wax, his community. The arts are important. It's important to me. It's important to the people who came with me today. And they are the co-director, Isabella Barone, and the other office workers, Ann Hansen and Laurel Giles. My family is also here today, and they're part of the ones that are going with me, or I'm going with them, to Washington State, and hopefully there's a local art center up there that I can get very involved in. Two other people that need recognition today are Dr. Earl Sherburne and Richard Ellis, both with Cultural Affairs Department, City of Los Angeles. Without their help, without their encouragement, without their guidance, I don't think McGroarty could have stayed open, and I know we couldn't have flourished and the numbers increased as they have. I want to thank Joel Wax for being interested in the arts and truly knowing the importance of the arts in our children. The children are our most precious resource on this earth. If we don't give them the time, the space, the energy, the encouragement to grow from within, then they're going to visit other places than McGroarty Art Center, and that's the places we don't want them to visit. The city, I want to thank the city for giving us the use of McGroarty. If you've never been there, you need to see this beautiful building that lends itself to serenity and peacefulness and quietness, and it gives these children and the adults that come the place to go within, not worry about the street and the crime and the problems that we hear on TV. And Joel, you're a major part of all of that. And working with Patty Wilson on the phone and your different office people, we want to thank you. And my wishes are for McGrarty, and that it continues and continues to flourish. And thank you for this. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. I believe Ms. Galanter is something.
Thank you, Mr. Wax. The chair recognizes Councilwoman Galanter.
Thank you, Mr. President. I actually have two presentations, and I'm going to have to go back for the other ones. Yeah, come on, bring everybody up here. Ladies and gentlemen, I know that a few of us still read newspapers, and so we have undoubtedly read in a number of newspapers that another one has bitten the dust. And I bring before you this morning the editor and a number of the reporters and staff people of the late Santa Monica Outlook, because this was a paper that published for 123 years. It made major contributions to the community. It started publishing in October of 1875. Think where you all were in October of 1875. For a number of years now, it's been the only newspaper to provide daily coverage of community news on the west side of Los Angeles. And we've all been wringing our hands since it folded, published its last edition on Saturday, March 14th, just a couple of weeks ago, because there's no way to get the information out. From our point of view, there's no place to send we send it to everybody, of course, but there's nobody providing daily coverage of community news in print on the west side anymore. For people who are looking for information, they have the flip side of the problem. There's no place to get daily community news in print on the west side anymore. And what do you do when you're having coffee in the morning and there's no Outlook at the door? It's really a problem. But I have asked Skip Reimer, the editor, and a number of the reporters to join me today and receive from those of us in the city of LA who've depended on this paper, even though it was based in Santa Monica, some recognition and commendation of the work that they have done. The staff members won a number of awards for coverage of the fires and for various other things. I can remember one in the early 70s that was an award-winning story on board and care homes, after which the reporter got fired. But boy, it was a good story. She went on to Sacramento and did it's all before all these guys. Most of these, I also remember very vividly, although I couldn't find it last night, the first editorial I received all to myself from the Santa Monica Outlook in January of 1977, when I was appointed to the Coastal Commission. And as Skip pointed out to me, that wasn't his responsibility either, but I treasure it deeply. The Outlook really was an exemplary newspaper, and we are all very much diminished by its folding and its loss. And the problem is there aren't any more papers like that coming into being. So the paper was purchased by a number of different people, by Copley in 1983. And to their credit, they tried for a long time, although we got the breeze on Sunday. But in March, earlier last month, the Copley papers announced that they were no longer going to publish the Santa Monica Outlook. And so I almost feel as if we should be giving you the black memorial certificates that we offer here when somebody has died. But although the paper has died, the conscientious and honorable and persistent staff has not, and they are all people who deserve commendation for the work they have done and our best wishes for the work that they will do. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, I don't know who gets to keep this, Skip. If I were you, I would hang on to it and not give it to the Copley people. But here is a resolution commending the Santa Monica Outlook for its years of service, for which all of you take credit. And no, we're not going to do all this.
They're trying to take a picture the other ways.
Mr. President, maybe I am going to do them one at a time. We also have commendations for each of the individuals who have meant so much to the newspaper and to the communities that they served, and we are also going to miss you. So I guess I am going to do this. I will do it quickly. Lisa Mascaro, step forward. Pat Alston. Some of these people I've only talked to on the phone and I've never seen face to face. Anne LaJeunesse. Thank you. Yeah, well, some of them I've known for a long time. Kim Irwin, whom I've seen many places, many times. Josh Brosberg. Is that what you look like?
That's it.
Lori Schweitzer. Kelly McMahon Pye. Christian Berthelsen, not here. Too bad. I don't know what he looks like either. I talk to him all the time. Mary Moore, not here. Ed Moosbrugger's not here. Yes, he is. There you are.
Ms. Galander, before everyone leaves, there are a few council members who would
I know.
like to...
Now, Ed is the only one of this crowd who actually remembers my heyday in the Santa Monica Outlook, and you can tell all the stories after you leave the council chamber, but not before. Skip Reimer, the editor, and Jorge Casuso. There you are. I do know what you look like. So I know several of you want to speak. Cindy and Mike, who represent the other areas that have depended on the Outlook as well, did second the resolution, and it really, I think, comes with best wishes from all of us. Thank you. We're going to let Skip talk after they do their thing, okay?
All right, Mike and Cindy, I'll let you guys speak first.
All right. Mr. President, members, thank you. I just want to say a couple of things. Ruth, first, thank you very much for allowing us this opportunity to acknowledge the work of the Outlook. There's a lot of very personal relationship stuff happening here. I mean, I remember when Skip and I first sat down when I was contemplating running for office to speak, and always, as editor, reflected very thoughtful opinions on the editorial page and in the composition of the newspaper. Kim, I remember when Kim Irwin and I would first walk precincts together when I was running for office, and it is interesting the kind of relationships that evolved, because Kim would call for a story subsequent to that on a very different issue and ask how my folks were doing, and really mean it, as opposed to doing it just for show, which I frankly found very touching. Josh and I would sit in Westwood and talk about the future of Westwood over coffee. We're still not sure we understand what's going on, but it's okay. We had good conversations there. I want to say that for all of you, my constituency too has felt very severely the loss of the Outlook and looks forward very much to the renaissance of news on the west side of Los Angeles, and to seeing each of you involved again in that endeavor. Thank you very much for all you've done for our communities and for the incisive stories and very personal touch that always existed in what you wrote.
Ms. Miskowski.
I, too, would just like to rise and let you know how much the Outlook has meant to the West Side community. Like, I think, Councilmember Galanter, I go back with the Outlook to the days when I was with Marvin's staff, and it was the Evening Outlook that we looked to for the first news on the West Side, been in the heyday of the Occidental oil battles, a lot of the other Santa Monica Bay issues dealing with oil drilling. It was clearly very, very topical, very much on point, and very much delivered in the West Side in a lot of the homes way beyond the city of Santa Monica. There's also an interesting connection between the Evening Outlook and City Hall. For many of you who are there and your predecessors, some of the reporters from the Evening Outlook, such as Tom Sullivan, who served as press deputy to Tom Bradley, Brenda Banks, similarly, and even Anton Kalea was a reporter on the Evening Outlook before he came to the mayor's staff. And Glenn Barr, who was both on Marvin Browdy's staff and is on my staff, was actually a reporter there and was I think, the editor of the Centennial edition in 1975, which commemorated both the centennial, the 100-year anniversary of the paper, as well as the city of Santa Monica. So the connections go very deep, are very meaningful, but the paper itself was a credit to good reporting, journalism, and it's going to be very, very much missed on the entire West Side.
And if I may, on behalf of, many of us don't represent areas that are exactly covered by the paper, but we work hard on issues of importance to the whole city, and your coverage of those issues of citywide importance is every bit as important, obviously, as the more localized coverage. And I've always found you to be fair and comprehensive and open, and I think all of us who concerned about issues where we want to communicate citywide have been very, very grateful for the really good history of journalism that you've had. So I thank you on behalf of all of my colleagues.
Before I let Skip have the last word here, I just want to tell one more story about the Outlook, because I think one of the things that made it such an unusual paper and made Skip and his staff so unusual was the really intense attention that they paid to young people and the kinds of concerns and the achievements as well as the problems that arise for young people. And I had the experience one day of taking a group of Venice high school students who were very unhappy about the way the community of Venice was being portrayed in the newspaper, because we were having a lot of problems then. And they said to me, "Why does the newspaper write these things?" And I said, "Well, why don't we go and ask them?" And so Skip was kind enough to set up a meeting for me and the students so that the students could sit down with the editor and the managing editor, and I've forgotten who all else you had in there, and have it out. And I don't know too many newspaper editors who will take the time to do that for a group of 6 or 7 high school students who just had a question and wanted to get an answer. So I've always appreciated that particularly, and another experience I will miss is bringing the next generation of students in to talk to you as well. If I keep this up, I'm going to cry, so let me turn this over to Skip. I never thought I'd cry over the Evening Outlook, but you never know. Skip Reimer.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Now that I'm no longer a working journalist, does that mean I can ask my Councilman Fuhrer, to do something about that damn pothole on Beverly Drive? Okay. First of all, on behalf of the staff, I want to say thank you for this commendation, especially to the 3 council members we dealt with most often. I, of course, wish the staff could be here today reporting on this rather than receiving this, but that is no longer possible, obviously. One thing I want to say is, on behalf of the staff, is especially with the 3 council members we dealt with most often, I think it was a very good working relationship. We didn't, of course, always agree on everything, and you were quick to point out when you felt we made mistakes, and we weren't shy about pointing out our differences with you on various policy matters. But I think overall, you understood that we had a job to do, and we certainly understood that you had a job to do, and it was a good professional relationship, and I think both your constituents and our readers were well served as a result. The West Side is a tremendously wonderful place to be a journalist, from the quirky confines of Venice Beach, about which Councilwoman Galanter knows all too well, to the deceptively calm communities of Pacific Palisades and West Los Angeles. There was always something interesting to report on, and we will greatly miss not having that. As you know, we were around for 123 years, which I think is slightly longer than Councilman Browdy was in office. And to see an institution die, especially one that was devoted to informing the community, is really sad. But I have to tell you, if we were going to close, I could not go down with a finer group of people than the ones that stand behind me here today, as well as some of those who aren't here. This was an outstanding group of people who, to them, this was not just a job. They had a duty to inform the citizens, and they took it very, very seriously, and I am extremely proud of all of them. And I want to thank, on behalf of all past and most recent members of the Outlook, thank you very much for this. We greatly appreciate it, and we wish you the best.
Thank you, and Godspeed. Mr. Hernandez?
Step into the back and I have to do one more.
Mr. President.
I got one more.
Yeah, I didn't want to take away from all the acclamations and the good things that were being said about the Outpost. And I think, the Outlook, I think it's a sad day in the communities that you served. And I wanted to say that because I have stood here on many occasions and tried to make sure we as a council recognize the importance of local community papers in communicating that information. And I've done it because we lost the Northeast newspapers in the area I represent, and it definitely created a gap. It definitely created an atmosphere where there was a lack of sense of community because nobody was telling people what was happening in their communities anymore. And it's just sad that we as policymakers and so forth can't think of ways of being able to make it happen. And I just think that the fact that we're a metropolis and we're served by one, maybe two papers is our reality is it doesn't get down to a local neighborhood the way it should. And I just wanted to express myself because I represent communities that in many cases don't have that anymore. And it has been a sad occasion and people do miss it. And you need to know that you did serve a very important purpose, and I just wanted to share those words.
And Councilman Savornich would also like to share some words.
Yeah, one of the things that I know very well, in the demise of the Outlook, I also am taking it bittersweetly because of also the demise of the sister paper, the News Pilot. And while the News Pilot did not go out of business, it was swallowed by the Daily Breeze. And I think many of us living in our communities, if we want to see state and national news, 9 times out of 10 we look towards the Los Angeles Times, and we wanted our local news and our community news, we look to the News Pilot and to the Outlook. And so also as a resident of this city who has seen his hometown newspaper go away and be swallowed by another, I also can empathize with those who were the subscribers of the Outlook to see their community newspaper go away also. I know they are trying in regards to our case to try to give it that hometown feeling, but I know the void that is created when a quality hometown newspaper as the Outlook and as the News Pilot disappears. And I would like to commend all of you for your wonderful hard work in the communities all these years and wish you Godspeed and best wishes.
Thank you, Mr. Savornich. Ms. Glanny, did you have another
I do,
presentation?
actually, as soon as we clear this group, if you would, please.
President.
We're going to go take a fancy
Mr. Ridley Thomas?
Regardless of the fact that it may be no longer in print, some of us will continue to read it just to catch up with the news.
Okay, we all here?
Thank you, Councilman Farrell.
Okay, Mr. President and members, those who are still here, I do want to take this opportunity to recognize some of our city employees. These should all look familiar to you because this is the City Facilities Recycling Team, and they are here this morning because they have recently received a national award, which we have here, made out of recycled glass. Would you hold this, please, Susanna? It's quite a lovely award, and it's all made out of recycled material. They won the Employee Education and Outreach Award from the Recycling at Work Awards presented in conjunction with the U.S. Conference of Mayors Conference on Environmental Legislation and Issues. And who could deserve it more? This is our very own team. We do need you to come back in here. I have found a couple of errant aluminum cans lately. Again. Where the aluminum can container is about 2.5 feet from the other container. Nevertheless, on the whole, this team has done a dynamite job in making sure that we all learn how to recycle, and they've really developed the ability of the city to cut costs, cut waste, cut landfill. We're cutting all kinds of costs. And we're doing the right thing, and it's because of our Department of General Services. So I am joined today by Tony DeClue, who is the Assistant General Manager, Tony Royster, Director of Building Services, and Susanna Estrella, who is the recycling maven par excellence, and who never lets me give her an award, which is why I want you to hold that. Susanna, as all of you know, has in addition to her perseverance in recycling, she has the very endearing trait that she always wants me to give awards to the people who lift the stuff, and has never taken one for herself. But I am very proud of all of you. I think we all are. It's about time we got recognized for this really fabulous job you're doing. And so we have a congratulations. I don't know which one of you is going to hold on to this one, but congratulations resolution from the City Council in acknowledgement of the National Conference of Mayors recognizing your work. And take it away.
Thank you very much, Ms. Galanter, members of council. I want to take this time to thank each one of you for the leadership that you've shown to help us do our job to help the recycling program go forward. We went back to the U.S. Conference of Mayors Conference, and we were astounded at how far ahead we are, this city, in our recycling efforts. We have more people doing more recycling in this city than the entire state of Iowa has. And it just goes on and on and on. We definitely have a leadership role, and that leadership role can be attributed to your assistance and your support in this effort. Thank you.
Mr. Bacon once called me the resident pest. Actually, he cleaned it up a little, but that's basically what, I guess I called me that. Anyway, thank you and congratulations to all of you, and let's go take a picture.
Councilwoman Miskowski.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would just like to take a moment to introduce someone who's visiting with us today. Actually, I think two someones, if they're still here. Tom Soto, who many of us know, has just been appointed by President Clinton to the Border Environmental Cooperation Commission, which is the environmental arm of the NAFTA Treaty and the North American Development Bank, so that as funding and projects go in on this on our border, he is a member of the Binational Commission to oversee and make sure that the development that is going to go on under the NAFTA trade agreement does go on with environmental sensitivity. So Tom, thank you very much for visiting today. And with Tom is another familiar face, the Honorable Council Member from West Hollywood, Jeff Prang. Jeff, thank you for coming as well. Tom?
Thank you for having me. I'd just like to thank the council member and as a constituent of hers in the Palisades. She was also on the advisory council of the Border Commission and has many congratulations from the Border Commissioners themselves. Very briefly, the Border Environmental Cooperation Commission is a gatekeeper to the $3.5 billion North American Development Bank. Everyone is very familiar with NAFTA, and a lot of our economic development activity is generated as a result of NAFTA coming in through our ports and through our roadways. In addition to that, the Border Environmental Cooperation Commission helps to assure that economic development within the free trade zone is meeting the standards of environmental sustainability throughout the 60-mile free trade zone. We are also coordinating efforts through the North American Development Bank to assure that some of the resources are applied to long-term economic distress areas throughout the city of Los Angeles, most recently providing small business and economic development assistance through the domestic window of the NAD Bank to the area of Pacoima. So with that, I'd just like to say thank you very much for this recognition and look forward to working with the City Council of Los Angeles. Thank you.
Thank you. The chair recognizes Councilman Bernson for a presentation.
Yeah, these right here. Yeah, it's going to be both of us.
What did he say?
You wanted to take it? Okay. Members of the council, we're here today to recognize and honor the Sylmar Women of the Year event, which has a long, prestigious history in Sylmar. The women here today were selected by their organizations for their outstanding dedication to their group and to the Sylmar community. There were 9 organizations that participated. The following names are the women and the organizations they represent. You have the... You want to open them as we present them? First, to Gwen Larson, Sylmar Chamber of Commerce. You have it there?
You received yours?
You got yours already? Okay, well, we're going to talk about you anyway. Gwen was nominated Woman of the Year by the Sylmar Chamber of Commerce. Has been a resident and open to Farmers Insurance Agency in Sylmar since 1974. She has served on the board for 15 years and was president in 1990. Gwen has always been very active in her community as PTA president, Kiwanis Club of Sylmar, and with the Sons of Norway in Van Nuys for over 30 years. Gwen is married to Ken Larson, 47 years. Well, that's a long time to put up with him, let me tell you.
Watch it, he's right behind you.
Has one daughter and 4 grandchildren. Gwen has served on many committees in the community because she believes it takes a care and commitment for communities to survive and prosper. So you have she has it already, but we want to thank you very much, Gwen. Next is Jeannie Rowe. Where's Jeannie? Hi, Jeannie, how are you? You have yours, you've already received yours? Okay. Jeannie Rowe is being honored by the San Fernando Emblem Club. She was nominated Woman of the Year by the San Fernando Emblem Club. She's a longtime resident in Sylmar, owns her own accounting service. Jeannie served as past president of the San Fernando Emblem Club and the Sylmar Chamber of Commerce. She's very active in her community and presently serves on the board of the Sylmar Women's Club, Sylmar Chamber of Commerce, and Los Angeles Mission College Foundation. Jeannie has always been very active and supportive in many organizations in Sylmar and surrounding communities. In fact, it's really very difficult to find any activity in the community that she isn't involved in, so we want to thank you and recognize that, Jeannie. Thank you. Next is Becky Graham. Have all of you received?
It's right here.
Okay, you've got it already, okay. Becky Graham, who was nominated by Carousel Ranch. Becky Graham was nominated as Woman of the Year for her dedication and commitment to working with disabled and disadvantaged children with horses. She is co-founder and co-director of the Carousel Ranch, a Sylmar-based nonprofit organization providing equestrian therapy for disabled and disadvantaged children. And if you haven't seen this in action, folks, you really ought to see it because there's something about the combination that kids really respond to. Since last summer, Becky has taken her own time and teaches horseback riding lessons for disabled and disadvantaged children out at Stetson Ranch in Sylmar twice a week. Becky has been very active with equestrian groups and presently serves as president of ETI, which is Equestrians Corral 34. Next is Yvonne Cowles, the Kiwanis Club Sylmar nominee. She was nominated for her dedication and commitment to the Kiwanis Club of Sylmar, presently serves as vice president of the Kiwanis Club for Sylmar, is Sylmar's honorary sheriff, is an active member of Sylmar's Lions Club, and supports all functions with the Sylmar Chamber. She has worked on many committees, organizing fundraisers to help with the youth in her community. You got that resolution? Yes, oh, yeah, very good. Thank you. Next is Rita Bradley. She's not here, okay? Okay, let me get this first here, okay? I'll read about Rita Bradley anyway. Rita was nominated as Woman of the Year by the Olive View UCLA Auxiliary. She's a longtime resident of Sylmar. She came from Germany after World War II. Rita is a volunteer at Olive View UCLA Medical Center working in the gift shop. Also very active with Sylmar Women's Club and serves on many committees, always willing to help any way she can. Unfortunately, she's not here today. Karen Hall, is Karen here? Yeah, hi Karen, how are you? Good. Karen Hall has been nominated by the Sylmar Civic Association as Woman of the Year. She moved to Sylmar several years ago with her husband and 2 children and immediately became actively involved in her community. She is active with her children's school by joining the PTA and served as president. Her children were active with the Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts, and she served as the committee chair for both. She felt that Sylmar was a great community and wanted to help make a difference. She continues to remain active with both the Girl Scouts and the Boy Scouts. Okay, now, who else is here? You have that? I just have a couple here I have to mention, then I'll turn it over to you. How's that? Others that were nominated but are not here this morning are Irma Goodman, who was nominated by the Sylmar Coordinating Council, Sharon D. Metz, also Sylmar Women's Club, and Jeannie Barrett from ETI Coral 12. You know Jeannie Barrett, don't you, Mr. Alarcon? Bertha Clark is here on behalf of the Sylmar Women's Club and Sylmar Coordinating Council. And with that, I will turn the balance of the program over to Councilman Alarcon.
Well, he took my speech. But I do want to say, not only as a city council member who represents half of Sylmar, along with Councilmember Burnson, in fact, we share the community service office, where I have a number of staff people who work out of that office, but it's in Councilman Burnson's district. So this is government, and yeah, I like your desk too. This is government cooperation in action. But each of us knows that all of these women and these organizations that they are actually representing are really creating the concept of community in Sylmar. And as a resident of Sylmar, it is particularly a pleasure to be able to identify with, work with all of these groups for the betterment of our community. Each and every one of these people has positively impacted our community, and so it is our pleasure to recognize them for their tremendous efforts. We know they're going to continue on to do more of the same thing, and we applaud them in that, and we're very pleased to have them here.
And I think it's fair to say that their efforts have also sort of come over into Lakeview Terrace and Sunland and the surrounding community as well. So you've got fans in your neighboring communities as well.
And they'll continue to do that, Mr. Wax. I would like to ask Gwen Larson to say a few words on behalf of all of the women.
Okay, I just want to thank everyone. It's our community is real close-knit. All the women here have done more than their share to make the community a good place to live, and the Chamber of Commerce does appreciate it, and I thank you both.
Thank you. Follow us. We're going to take a picture back. Okay, come on. Shannon, come on,
Yeah. Councilman Alcone, did you have additional presentation? Yeah, you're the last one, so I can. Chair recognizes Councilman Alarcon for a special presentation.
This is actually a presentation on behalf of Councilmember Richard Alatorre, but I have to tell you that this is something that we all share in. This is a very special presentation that recognizes a historic cultural event that goes on in our community. And so I am very honored that Councilmember Alatorre asked me to present this on his behalf, not only because it is a citywide recognition, but also because I was baptized at the church over by Alvera Street. So this is a very special opportunity for me. In fact, Mike, maybe you want to join me here. You were probably baptized there too. But what I am talking about is the presentation of appreciation for the Alvera Street Committee for Blessing of the Animals. Every year you watch on TV hundreds, if not thousands, of animals converge in the downtown area. You know, it's Joel and Hal and I and some of the others of you who serve on the bordering communities of Los Angeles know that it's not uncommon to see animals walking down the street. In fact, not too long ago, I was driving down the street and there was a pig walking down the street, and I mean I was stunned, but it's an equestrian agricultural type setting. Some of you may have had a similar experience. But this is a day when Alvera Street serves to recognize the importance of animals to our community in a very special way. It recognizes it from a cultural perspective. It also recognizes it from a religious perspective, but really in the historical context. So it is my pleasure to be here on behalf of Councilman Alatorre. I almost said Alarcon. On behalf of Councilman Alatorre, who, as all of you know, is recovering from surgery, and I understand he's doing very well, to present these certificates to these members. I would like to express to you some of the history of some of the background of the Blessing of the Animals. First of all, the tradition has been around for centuries in Mexico. A tradition began on Olvera Street in 1930. It was started by Olvera Street founder, Mrs. Sterling, and merchant Zacarias Hernandez, the inventor of the taquito. I don't know, when Mayor Reardon talks about the inventions of Los Angeles, I think he forgot about the taquito that was invented down the street. This annual celebration brings thousands of people from all over Los Angeles and is usually presided over by Cardinal Mahoney. People bring everything from dogs, cats, rabbits, snakes, turtles, and yes, parrots. Or macaws, I guess. Lots of times, a lot of time and energy go into putting this event together. For free to the public. The certificates are for those involved in the committee that puts this event together, and we have certificates of appreciation for 4 committee members, Emily Martinez, Pete Martinez, Augusto Godoy, and George Sherman. We also are pleased to have join us again a world-famous artist. He is world-famous by virtue primarily of his work on the famous Rose Parade, where he has designed literally hundreds of floats in his history. That is Raul Rodriguez, who all of us in the council know very well. Mr. Hernandez has recognized him specially. Raul is a great friend to the city's birthplace, Olvera Street. Raul has served as the king of the Mardi Gras for Olvera Street, and he will be here. He is here, as you can see, with his macaw bird Roxy, who I guess is going to be blessed with the blessing of the animals. So we just wanted to recognize this tremendous event that embellishes the culture of Los Angeles, recognizes some people for engaging in preserving our culture in Los Angeles, but also a very fun event, especially for the children, and also certainly for the animals. So I'd like to present these certificates to Augusto Godoy. He's not here. Emily Martinez. Here you go. Thank you. Peter Martinez. Here you go. And we have one for George Sherman, and Raul will accept that one. Would you like to make some comments?
Yes. Good morning. Councilman Wax and council members. This is a committee that puts on this event every year. And back in 1930, Mrs. Sterling had a vision not only of preserving the historic buildings on Olvera Street, but maintaining the culture of a group of people, the Mexican people, and their traditions. Many people are not aware that the way she selected the merchants was she would walk within a 10-block radius of Olvera Street and ask people that had that were artisans or business people to come and put a store or business there on Olvera Street. One of these persons was Zacarias Hernandez, who was also the inventor of the taquitos. And he showed Mrs. Sterling how to put on these events. Since he was from Mexico, so he taught her how to put these on. And that's how we have these cultural events on Olvera Street, which the merchants and their families have maintained throughout the generations. We would like to invite everyone to come. It's not only for people that are Christian, even though Cardinal Mahoney comes, it's for everyone. It's a way of saying thank you to the animal kingdom for their help and support, their companionship, the food they give us. And I would also like to thank here, it's not only the merchants are a very big part of putting on these events. We also have our councilman, Alatorre, who supports us, and also staff at El Pueblo Monument. We have a special events division, Caroline Asensio and Pauline Casares, who have put on children's workshop since March 24th regarding the animal kingdom. And every day there have been school buses coming down. They have organizations that come down, like from the ASPCA, to show children about how to be with animals, how to treat them, things of that nature, so the children learn more about the animal kingdom. And we also have the Zorthian family, who have been participating at Olvera for over 48 years. They live in Altadena, and for them it's a family reunion. They come down, they bring big carts with animals, and it's a very colorful and festive procession. I would like to thank you and invite everyone to come and participate.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, council members. My name is Pete Martinez. As you very well know, Councilman Richard Latorre underwent surgery, and we wish him a speedy recovery. The councilman and his staff has always been supportive of this event. At this time, in behalf of the merchants, I'd like to present a poster to Councilman Richard Latorre and thank Councilman Richard Lacron for accepting this poster for him.
Gee, I want that one. Isn't that beautiful? There is one.
Wow, this is beautiful. I would love to have one of these. Can I buy one?
Yeah, no, we have one for you.
You're kidding. That's great.
We would also like to distribute one of the copy of the posters to each individual council member. With your permission, Councilman Wax, and we approach.
Please.
Thank you.
Delighted.
And now it's an honor for me as a merchant to present this next person who has embraced Olvera Street. He hasn't left his roots. He knows to come back to us ever since he was king of Mardi Gras. He probably wants to be king again. It's an honor to introduce the most prize-winning designer in the 109-year history of the Tournament of Roses Parade, Raul Rodriguez.
Thank you, Emily. Distinguished members of the council, I can't thank you enough. For me, a very proud Angelino, third generation, born in Boyle Heights, to be embraced by the city, to come to my roots, really. Olvera Street is part of my history. Mom and Dad took me there as a child, and I'm just very proud to have the honor of working with the merchants and working with the workshops with the children. And I invite you all next Saturday, April 11th, Sábado de Gloria, to come and witness this wonderful processional led by Cardinal Mahoney. And of course, Roxy, I hope not only will be blessed, but will be better behaved. But thank you very much, and it's a pleasure to be involved with the tremendous history of the Plaza de Olvera and Calle Olvera.
Councilman Alarcón will hold it while you're speaking. That's okay.
Be happy to. All right.
I started something.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Council.
you
And I
very
hope I
much.
see you all next Saturday.
Great. Thank you. Congratulations.
Members of council, are there any other presentations before we begin with the first item on the agenda? If not, call the roll, Madam Clerk.
Alarcón, Alatorre, Bernstein, Chick, Fiora, Galante, Goldberg, Hernandez, Holden, Miskowski, Ridley, Thomas, Savornis, Wax, Walters, Ferraro. 12 council members present and a quorum, Mr. President.
All right, well, Ms. Goldberg, where is Ms. Goldberg? She wanted. Ms. Goldberg, I'm going to call on you so you can make your motion. And Chair recognizes Councilman Goldberg.
Yes, thank you. We have two specials, and I would like to ask permission to suspend the rules to call them out of order so that we can dispense with
Okay, let's go to the first one. Could the city attorney read the findings first?
Yes. On Special 1, on April 3rd, the Civil Service Commission certified an open list in order to hire an emergency preparedness coordinator.
I don't know.
The list will lapse tomorrow on April 4th, and no one on the other list has been accepted. If this list lapses, it will take another 6 months at least before they can fill this position, and therefore the council would need to make the findings and vote on the motion.
Yes, this is Special 1.
All right, is there any objection to the findings? If not, open the roll on the findings, close the roll.
12
All right, the
ayes.
findings have been approved. Is there any objection to bringing this in special at this time? If not, the chair recognizes Councilwoman Goldberg.
Yes, this is for an emergency preparedness coordinator position, and it's described here, but basically the problem is an expiring list, and if we don't take the action today, which is to affirm and approve the Prop 5, and to approve the, jurisdiction over the April 3rd Civil Service Commission action authorizing certification of the coordinator open candidates with scores ranging from 99 to 95%. If we don't take that action right now, then we will probably leave, not probably, we will definitely leave a very important emergency preparedness position open for 6 to 8 months. And so I would move that we, pursuant to action, Section 32.3 of the city charter, assert jurisdiction and authorize certification of emergency preparedness coordinator open candidates with scores ranging from 99 to 95%.
Before we vote, Chair recognizes Councilman Walters.
Thank you, Mr. President. This has not been, because of its special nature, has not been to Budget and Finance, correct?
It was before Budget and Finance when the council granted the unfreeze for us to fill the position.
So Budget and Finance did pass on an unfreeze for the position?
Yes. That was, it was approved by the full council on February 17th.
Well, it was approved by the council on February 17th, but now it has to come in on a special?
No, what happened is immediately I'm Bob Canfield with the CAO's office. Immediately following the council's approval, the CAO asked the Personnel Department to certify the promotional list. The Personnel Department did that. We conducted the interviews, and we offered a job to a person from the promotional list who had a 99% score. That person was a DWP employee, and just on March 26th, turned us down and declined the position because she became eligible for retirement in the DWP buyout. So the next candidate of the promotional candidates that we interviewed had an 86% score, and we interviewed candidates on the promotional list down to 82%. Now, had we not had the 99% score candidate, we would have earlier gone to the Personnel Department and the Civil Service Commission and sought certification of the open list, because there are 17 candidates on the open list with scores from 99% to 87%.
So what you're asking for here is certification of the open list,
Yes, ma'am.
and it has never been certified before.
Not the open list, no.
Why do we do one and not the other?
Well,
basically, Councilwoman Waters, if left alone, this would happen on its own accord. This is a friendly, in the parlance of City Hall, a friendly Prop 5, which just allows, if we had to wait, we would wait, and then during that period of time of waiting, the list would die. And so all we're doing is concluding the Prop 5 waiting days of 5 days, taking a jurisdiction and approving it like we do on bonds when the interest rates are pending. And all we're doing is concurring with the Civil Service Commission in their action for only one reason, is to terminate the 5 days and conclude.
All right, well, as to the certification of these two lists, if we go to all the trouble of giving an examination that is both open and promotional, it would seem to me that we ought to certify both lists at the same time.
that's not possible under the charter. The charter says that you cannot certify candidates from the open list
As long as you've got internal candidates, promotional
with
candidates.
scores that are higher. And in the case that we had, our office, for example, and other departments have hired 7 people off of this same list from the promotional side, and everyone was hired except this one person with a 99 score. And that, because that person had a 99 score, it prevented certification of the open list.
Entire other list.
Yes.
Okay, thank you both very much.
All right, thank you, Ms.
Mr.
Walters.
President.
Is there any further discussion? If not, open the roll first on asserting jurisdiction. Close the roll.
12 ayes.
All right, and the matter is before us. Now we have Ms. Goldberg's motion, the substantive motion. Open the roll. Close the roll.
13 ayes.
All right, that's approved. Now, Special 2, Madam City Attorney, could you read the findings on Special 2
Yes, could we make forthwith on the first one?
without objection forthwith?
Okay. On March 23rd, the Board of Harbor Commissioners awarded a contract for custodial services to TBM Custodial Services. The questions have arisen regarding that contractor and also the general services bid. This is the last day to take action and to take jurisdiction on this matter.
First on the, is
Findings on
there any
the redact-
objection to making the findings? Any discussion on that issue? If not, open the roll on the findings. Close the roll.
13 ayes.
All right, and without objection, the matter will be before us. Have Ms. Goldberg and then Mr. Savornich.
Yes, under Charter Section 126, all city agencies, including proprietary departments, are required to find out whether or not there is a way to use city employees before contracting out. In this particular case, it appeared that there was no way to do that in a way that was both ensuring the high quality of the contract and a competitive bid. So there was no action taken to do anything other than to award it outside. Since then, the General Services Department, Local 347, and the Harbor Department all agree, and the Harbor Department, this is not an unfriendly Prop 5, all agree that there is potential for a win-win. And so we are not asking if we assert jurisdiction to get rid of the TBM contract, but simply not to let it go into effect until that other alternative is explored, which involves using vocational workers and people becoming workers at the harbor rather than general service. In any case, there's a possibility that this could be a win-win for everyone, cheaper for the harbor and better quality. And so I spoke at his home, and he's ill, with the department manager, Larry Keller, and he does agree that this is worth a shot at looking at. And so I would ask that we assert jurisdiction, not turn down the other contract, but also not allow it to be approved, finally, and to send this to Personnel and Commerce and Energy as a joint committee to look into the issues as to whether or not the idea that has been promulgated in fact is feasible, at which time we'll come back and take action one way or the other on this contract.
You have 21 days to do that.
We can do that in less. I can do it in 5. No, that's another.
Name that tune.
Yes.
Chair recognizes Councilman Savornich.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the council. What has brought this entire issue before us is that if indeed the city did not have to put a 59% administrative cap on the Department of General Services bid, so the city would be in conformance with an MOU that we have with the Harbor Department in regards to the revenue transfers as is outlined in the Nexus study, the Department of General Services bid would be the low bid. But because of we having to tack on 59% onto the city workers' bid because of the memorandum of understanding that's out there and because of issues relating to the State Lands Commission's lawsuit with the city over port revenue transfers, et cetera, our own workers don't get the bid because of the formula and the criteria that are out there. So I think what we need to do is have this opportunity to see what we can do and also to see whether or not, in regards to issues like this, whether or not this 59% administrative cap that showed up in this case, whether or not it would happen in the future. And I think what we're asking for here is for some creative solutions to have the department work with the Department of General Services in order that we get the best bid possible. If we let this bid go today, it would probably be about $30,000 to $35,000 more, am I correct, Jackie, than what we could be getting it for with the Department of General Services without that cap. is about $30,000 to $35,000 less than what we are doing as we are contracting it out. That's why we're asking for the extra time.
Maybe what we should be doing is reducing the amount of overhead so that it doesn't reach 59%. That would be a good, that would be a nice idea.
That would be nice to
Point of order,
consider
Mr.
also.
Chair. No,
Yes.
Point of order, Mr. Chair.
I know, Mr. Ridley Thomas, you'll get bent
There's
out
a
of shape by
parliamentary
me saying
procedure that says that you have to relinquish that chair if you're going to invoke
The chair
editorial
recognizes
remarks.
Councilman Ridley Thomas. Did you have something to say? Open the roll.
Yeah, you're out of order.
On the asserting jurisdiction. Close the roll.
13 ayes.
All right, the jurisdiction has been asserted. Now, the motion is to refer it to the committee.
Jointly to Personnel and Commerce, Energy, and Natural Resources.
All right, without objection, that'll be the order. Next order, Madam Clerk.
Item 1, Mr. President, is required hearing. It's a continued hearing, Building and Safety Department report on confirmation of assessment involving property in Council District 4.
All right, is there anyone in the audience wishing to address the council on item number 1? If not, the matter is before us. Any discussion?
I need a motion from the floor to confirm the assessment.
Yes, that'll be the motion. Open the roll. Close the roll.
13 ayes.
That's approved. Next item, Madam Clerk.
Items 2 through 12 are items for which public hearings have been held.
2 through 12 have been held. Now, I understand number 6 is, Ms. Glander, is that to go to committee or can be?
She'd like it referred back to Commerce, Energy, and Natural Resources.
All right, is there any objection to referring item 6 back to committee? If not, that'll be the order.
That's fine.
5 special, Joel.
Mr. Fuhrer calls 5 special. Are there any other specials? We're going to need motions on 7 and 8, I believe.
Yes, they were submitted without recommendation.
Submitted without recommendation. Do I hear any motion?
Let me tell you why they were submitted
All right,
without
then let's
recommendation.
just call it special for a moment, and we'll get the other ones out of the way, just to have it. Are there any other specials? All right, then open the roll on 2, 3, 4, 9, 10, 11, and 12.
Mr. President, before we vote, I'd like to be recorded on 3 and 4 as no, and aye on the rest of them, and it's difficult to do that.
Okay, that would be difficult to do, but if I, well, then let's vote on 3 and 4 special, because there may be others who do, I don't know. So open the roll on 2, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Close the roll.
13 ayes.
All right, those are approved. Then we'll vote on item 3 and then on item 4, so that those who wish to vote no may. I open the roll on item number 3. Item 3, open the roll. Close the roll.
12 ayes, 1 no.
All right, that's approved, and as soon as the board is clear to open the roll on item number 4. Close the roll. Open the roll on item 4. Close the roll.
11 ayes, 1 no.
All right, that's approved. Item 5, Councilman Fuhrer, called special. Chair recognizes Councilman Fuhrer.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I called item 5 special to call our collective attention to the importance of fashioning a debt policy here in the city of Los Angeles, particularly at this point because we are in the process of entering into our budgeting discussions. And as we think about the way the budget gets formulated for the upcoming fiscal year, we have to note how important having a debt policy in place will be because, of course, every year, certainly for the past several years, debt has played an important role in the balancing of our budget. Without managing our debt policy here in the city, a variety of consequences can ensue. For example, the cost of funds to the city can go up if our ratings go down. For example, by not having a good policy on how to manage our debt, we narrow our choices in subsequent years for service delivery because the decision to incur debt in year 1, debt that is secured by the general fund, necessarily precludes a chunk of money from being available in years 2, 3, and down the road for things like police and fire and libraries and other important services here in Los Angeles. I've been speaking with the rating agencies directly about how they perceive the city of Los Angeles, specifically with Moody's and Standard & Poor's, to figure out how they see us. And they point out several things. First of all, as they note the competition between the CAO and the controller's proposed debt policies, competition which we hope to reconcile through this motion, they say there's no magic to given numbers. There's no magic to the precise percentage of our general fund revenue of particular debt. But they also point out to us the importance of a reserve policy and the importance of where our reserve is. For example, 10 years ago, our reserve was about $180 million. This year, our reserve will be $13 million. Think about that for a second. They point out, it absolutely was. They point out to us that the day-to-day fiscal oversight provided by this council and the mayor is also integral to a good debt policy and how we are perceived by the rating agencies. And they point out to us as well that extrinsic factors like the passage of Proposition 218 that impede our flexibility when it comes to the ability, if we need to raise revenue, come into play. All those factors are part of how we are perceived by the rating agencies. The motion before us asks for several things. First, it calls on us collectively to direct the CAO and the controller to engage in a process through which I think they will probably go informally, but assure that happens, where they reconcile their proposals, and where there are differences, they make clear what the reasons for those are. Second, it calls on us to put our debt policy in the context of our overall public policy priorities in this city, something we have not done a good job of. For example, when we incur debt for certain projects, we are, because of the importance of certain caps that are imposed on us, we are saying we're not going to be able to incur debt for other things. What's more important in this city? Building police stations, building fire stations, improving our infrastructure, building libraries, purchasing equipment? What are our relative priorities? And therefore, what ought we be prepared to issue debt for at this point? And the third component of the motion before us would impose a moratorium on the issuance of debt that has not yet been considered by this council and for which there is no source other than the general fund to repay the debt. That is what is before us. It unanimously passed from the Budget and Finance Committee, and I urge unanimous approval today to get us on the course of having a debt policy in advance of decision-making regarding our budget, and in the meantime to impose some important discipline on us to assure that we're not precluding choices that we might want to make down the road.
Mr. Fuhrer, can I ask if you would accept a friendly amendment on number 3, where the second line, where the word consider be the word approved, so that the moratorium be placed on all new indebtedness which has not already been approved by the council?
May I confer briefly with representatives from the CAO's office to assure that there are no problems created by
Because
that?
considered could be anything.
I think it's fine, but let me check.
Okay. Chair recognizes Councilman Holden.
Mr. Fuhrer. Mr. Fuhrer. Mr. President.
Mr. Holden has, Mr. Fuhrer is consulting
I'm
with
just
them.
wondering if the debt policy has any relationship to the amount of time Mr. Fuhrer was permitted to speak just now, Mr. President.
I think it does.
Thank you
Chair
so much.
recognizes
Yes,
Councilman
I think
Holden.
marked flexibility is an important component in this.
Mr. President, Mr. Fuhrer, it's not a day that we come in here, including today, that we don't do something to increase the debt. So if you're asking for a moratorium, that means that we should stay at home or don't come here at all, at least don't take position on certain issues. And what that really means is that government's going to stop right now.
No, absolutely not.
Well,
it
then
means that for us to make the decision to incur future debt that we haven't even considered yet should await a policy on our debt.
Well, but we're doing that every day.
No, we're not.
All right, next time it comes up and say, hold this one, it's a debt.
Fair enough.
Okay, and you know, you wonder why you have a shortfall in the reserve fund compared to what you had years ago, close to 200 million. Now you got 13 million, as you say. I don't know what it's going to be because the mayor hasn't released his budget yet. But I'm sure there's some savings in there which could make that go up or down. But we've added more police officers, which we had to use matching funds for, which you voted for, and which the public needs. More better police protection, fire protection. We just decided to give some more staff people to the fire department to save lives. Obviously, we need more equipment. That's indebtedness. But we need it for safety. And then I got to tell you, there's something we didn't need because it was not a safe program, is when we gave that $70 million, I don't mean, Ruth, don't get upset at me, but we gave $70 million to that little development project out there. You know, some business, so the money won't come in. We're providing the services, but we're not getting money. So somewhere you got to decide when we're going to make this trade-off and when it's going to stop.
Right, that's the importance of having a policy.
I
so
know,
it has some
but
guiding principles.
That's something that I've been saying all the time.
Well,
but thank you for coming aboard.
Councilmember Walters.
Thank you, Mr. President. I think that we do need to consider a debt policy, and I think that both the CAO and the CLA should be involved. One of the things that has been suggested in considering that debt policy is that we should look at the debt that's paid from the general fund separately from the debt that is financed or that is its repayment is from some other source other than the general fund. Folks, debt is debt. And 15% debt, because half of it comes from a dedicated source and half does not mean that we don't have to pay it back or that we have any more money to pay it back. And I, for one, will be arguing against the separation in Budget and Finance Committee. I think the separation is being suggested to accommodate the fact that we're already over the limit, that we're already over the 10% suggested limit that economists told us was really that we should not go beyond. The other point that I think we should carefully consider is that in thinking that numbers don't, the amount of debt so much doesn't matter, it matters whether we have the money or the will to tax ourselves to pay it back. Now, we may have all the will in the world to tax ourselves to pay it back, but Prop 218 has precluded that without going to the voters. So I think that we need to very carefully consider the preliminary suggestions. I think we very carefully need to consider debt and the amount that is comfortable and that we know we will not have any difficulty paying back. And I think that we have some hard choices to make, council members, and I look forward to this discussion in Budget and Finance Committee. And if it comes back to Budget and Finance Committee before, if the question is being asked for 2 weeks, for it to be considered in Budget and Finance Committee, I would like to augment that committee at that time so that as many council people can participate in the discussion at the committee level as choose to do so.
All right, thank you. Chair recognizes Councilman Hernandez.
I concur with the report. I don't think the amendment's necessary. I just wanted to basically lay claim to that. We still have to depend on the CAO, the CLA, as well as all the department heads to make us clearly aware of what a vote means. And that's part of what I believe is how the buck's going to stop in terms of us spending the bucks. The reality is we're dependent on staff to give us accurate information and to make sure that they are taking into account this new current situation in terms of our outstanding debt. I've been on this council for 6 years, members, and it was like we were always able to bail out at the end and figure out a way to make things happen. And what I'm realizing as we have our discussions now is that those days are over. And our realities are that every dollar is going to be making a difference. And so again, I do concur with establishing said policy, looking at it more carefully, but our reality as a council is our decisions are being made on the information our staff is giving us. And if that information is not correct, if that information is not current, we're still going to end up expanding the debt, and that's not what this council wants to do.
And Chair recognizes Councilman Burnson. Where's Hal? I don't see him here right now. Chair recognizes Councilman Ridley Thomas.
Mr. President, members of the council, I simply rise to make note of the fact when we talk about a debt policy, I certainly concur with Mr. Fuhr that it's appropriate to have guiding principles, of one of which I should think is the notion of what is an appropriate a set of incentives that guide us with respect to the subsidies that are made available to significant projects. I don't think that we ought to view this notion of debt narrowly. We ought to be thoughtful about what contributes to it and those specific mechanisms that can help offset it, one of which could very well be incentives to cause development to happen so that revenues are generated pursuant to development projects, namely business taxes, the whole range of things, as well as jobs that then get recycled into a healthier economy, and not the least of which is an improvement of the quality of life for the community and those specific individuals who then may be benefited by job opportunities. So I think when we talk about this issue, it has to be discussed in tandem with larger concerns about the economic development, that is the health of the local economy. And the two, in my view, have to be seen together. Otherwise, we may not be doing the best service that we can to the citizenry of Los Angeles, as I am convinced is our primary objective. So fiduciary responsibility, in my view, Mr. Feuer, has to be balanced against economic progress or the health of the local economy, and I'm sure you would concur.
Recognize Councilman Bernson.
Yeah, I don't have any problem with what you're asking for. I just want to clarify, we keep getting these stories in the paper about how we're over 10% of our general fund is for bonded indebtedness, and I think they're only telling you about 1/3 of the story, because the figures that they're giving you are not related to our budget. They're related to the combination of the city, Department of Water and Power, the harbor, the airports. So I think that you have to recognize the fact that in reality our bonded indebtedness figure is basically fairly low by comparison with most cities. Where we're suffering is the fact that we don't have the revenue that we had previously, and because of diversion of property taxes and other things. And that causes a problem as far as shortfall. But the city of Los Angeles provides services that no other city provides. We're the only major city probably in the country that provides rubbish collection and doesn't charge for it or have it privatized. Plus the fact, I think we probably have the best police and fire department in the country. I don't think we do, I know we do, and paramedics. And so I think we need to note these things. And some of these stories that you read in these editorials are irresponsible when they start saying that our indebtedness takes up 10 to 15% of our budget, because if you really want to be honest, take the budgets of the various departments that are involved in these things, and then you can get a true percentage of what our percentage of our general fund or our revenue goes for debt service each year, because the figures that are being bounced around are not true or accurate. Second of all, it was pointed out, whether you agree with it or disagree with it, not all of the indebtedness is due to obligation bonds, which come from the general fund or come from other things. A lot of it are revenue bonds that other sources pay off as well. So when we start getting these stories about these things, I think that the condition of Los Angeles is not dire. Yes, we could use more money to provide better services, but remember that we are a city that must have a balanced budget. We don't have a national debt like our federal government does, and we do the best we can with the revenue that we have as far as providing the best services we can.
The chair recognizes Councilman Savornich.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President, members of the council. Kudos to Mr. Feuer for bringing this to the council's attention. And also I'd like to agree with Councilmember Ridley Thomas in regards to, I think we have to take a look at our debt policy in a holistic form. As those of us who have been in business, the only way to get rid of your debt is either to tighten your belt in regards to your operations, or to increase sales, or increase the prices of the sales that you currently have. And so I think some of those, and Mr. Bernson adds, yeah, the other one is bankruptcy. But I think some of those are unpalatable to some of us, even though some of them will probably end up being on the table. But I know very well that as we enter into this debate, I think that we should see that our debt debate is no much greater than if someone was talking about their own personal charge card. And you can only rack up so much debt on that card until the interest payments outweigh, as they usually do, the principal payments. And when the credit card balance gets up so high, all you're doing is paying off the interest, with the large principal being carried on for years and years or years. Pretty soon the card is maxed out. You're paying off interest. The goods have long either served out their usefulness or they're out of date, but you still have that debt to pay. And I think that's the message that we need to get out to the people of this city. And I welcome very much, Mr. Fuhrer, the debate that you have brought to us today, and I look forward to the Budget and Finance consideration in 2 weeks. But I really do feel that if we do not get a firm grasp on this quickly, it will not bode well for the people of this city, not in the far future, but in the very near future.
Is there any further discussion? Open the roll. Close the roll.
12 ayes.
All right. Item number 7, I think, Ms. Galanter.
Hello, Mr. President. The situation on both is the same on both items 7 and 8. The reason they're before you without a recommendation is that the Commerce Committee has simply decided we are no longer going to rubber stamp approve contracts that are processed after the fact. We have a chronic problem with the Department of Airports in particular, that they will bring to us a request for the council to approve either a month-to-month contract, as is the case with both of these, to carry on because or a new contract that is retroactive. What happens is they let contracts expire. When they get around to it, they come up with a replacement contract, and in between, they come to us and say, we want you to approve a month-to-month contract until we get around to doing the work we should have done before. So we simply decide, there's really nothing wrong with these contracts, except that they're month-to-month contracts that come because the RFP process for a replacement contract wasn't done before the old contract expired. Both of the contracts do include an agreement to abide by the living wage ordinance. They are month-to-month contracts designed basically to cover up the fact that the Department of Airports didn't get around to doing its work. So I have simply declined to make a recommendation on them. The only thing wrong with them is that they're late. But if somebody else wants to make a motion, I can't imagine that any of us will really want to oppose this. And I'm simply trying very hard to get across to the department what I have told them straightforwardly on a number of occasions for the last year or so.
Chair recognizes Councilman Hernandez.
As I read these reports, you need to know that I felt like I should oppose them. And the reason I felt I should oppose them is as I was looking at them, new RFPs or RFPs are going out for September of 98, is that correct?
Jerry Lee from the airport is here, and so you can ask him this. It's my understanding that in both cases, the RFP process is underway.
Right, but
it didn't get underway soon enough to have a new contractor in place in time.
Right, and one of them, for example, is talking about a new upgrade of equipment for the looking at the routes that the automobiles take around that we're going to be charging as part of the shuttle system.
Excuse me just for a second on your time. Mr. President, just so the record can reflect this, we're actually discussing both items 7 and 8. Go ahead.
Okay, so looking at item 7, for example, on that one, the AVI system is supposed to be basically upgraded, and that RFP is supposed to coincide by September 10th, 1998. Is that correct?
Yes, it's not for a new system. Both of these contracts are
It's
for
to
maintenance.
upgrade a system.
It's for the maintenance of the systems.
Right, so we're being asked, we know we're going to upgrade a system. We're going to spend $650,000 on upgrading that system as of September of '98, but we're being asked to approve the people who are going to maintain that system now?
No, this is for the maintenance that's going on in the existing system. As Councilwoman Galanter said, that...
What's going to happen in September of '98?
September of '98, we will have a new maintenance contract for the system that exists now.
So if I do nothing between now and September, I'll be voting on the persons who will be maintaining that system, which is what I should be doing.
If there's no action taken, the department has a real problem from the standpoint that there's no one to maintain these systems. We do not have staff on board that is capable of maintaining their very
But you haven't
technical-
had staff on board since September, since that previous contract expired in '97.
That's correct. We have been able to maintain keep the contractor there through use of an AFE, but that is no longer possible. No. We've exceeded the limit.
And that's also the case with item 8?
I'm sorry?
That's also the case with item 8?
Yes, they're both the same.
We've gotten to this point in time instead of having done it already.
These contracts were expired in June of 1997. There was difficulty with the staff in putting together the RFP because of the complexity of it and the possibility that they might be changed. They went to the Board of Airport Commissioners prior to the expiration, and we got a month-to-month extension. Then there was a series of events that delayed the extension getting down to the City Council involved in writing the new contract, and it's a long and bloody story, and we recognize that we're in the wrong, but these are two contracts that we do need to have approved, if it's your pleasure.
Right.
I think, time's up, Mr.
I'll press my button again.
Chair recognizes Councilman Burnson. Okay, now press it again, Mike.
Okay.
Huh? All right, that's it. Then the chair recognizes Mr. Hernandez back up again.
Okay, now, in reading item number 8, basically it talked about, it was a one-year contract that was awarded in 1994 with basically included 2 one-year renewal options that were exercised. And the department's intention was to absorb the ACAM's maintenance services into the new badging system.
That's correct.
Now, what I'm hearing is that the new badging contract is still at least 1 year from being operational. And that is telling me, in essence, 3 years have elapsed. And at that time, basically, it'll be incorporated. Now, when does this contract going to lapse?
Which contract are you speaking of?
The one you're asking us to approve in item 8.
In September of 1998.
In approximately 5 months.
That's correct.
And what's going on March 30th of 1998?
March 30th of 1998 is when we expect to receive the RFP back, and so we can select a new vendor to provide this service.
Now, when I looked at my calendar, today's April 3rd, 1998. My calendar said today was April 3rd, 1998. So did you receive that by March 30th?
It's now, let me see, I have the date. It's due to be received on, I'm still looking here. Next week, whatever, I think it's April 17th.
Okay, and at that time, do you think we'll have an idea of when we're going to want to incorporate the system into the new badge system?
That is still a problem that we're struggling with, and what I'm trying to make clear is these are maintenance contracts and not the systems themselves. And we will maintain the existing system until we get a new system in place, and the new system, at least for the first year, will include a maintenance contract as part of the award of the contract for the new system.
All right, is there any further discussion then? Open the roll. Close the roll.
11 ayes, 1 no.
That's approved. And item number 8, Ms. Galanter. Same discussion. Same. Is there? Can we vote on item 8 then?
Yes, Councilmember Galanter requested that you discuss 7 and 8 together, and Councilman Burnson moved adoption of both.
Okay. Is there any more discussion on item 8? If not, open the roll. First, you have to clear the roll. Okay. Once the roll is cleared, open the roll on item number 8. Close the roll.
11 ayes,
All right.
1 no.
That's approved. Next order, Madam Clerk.
Items 13 through 16 are items for which public hearings have not been held.
All right. Is there anyone in the audience wishing to address the council on any of the items 13 through 16? 13 through 16. If not, the public hearing is closed. Are there any specials? If not, any discussion, members of council? Open the roll. Close the roll.
12 ayes.
Those are approved. Next order, Madam Clerk.
This is the time for comments from the public on non-agenda items.
All right. I have one request to be heard. Mr. Richard Robinson.
Mr. President, members of council, I had a dream. This morning, I dreamed of a futuristic Frank Lloyd Wright-like city, Metropolis. America is the melting pot, Los Angeles, the pressure cooker, a great big mulligan stew. You're sort of like that, a beautiful mixture of humanity, a pastiche. Joel, the millennium awaits. Together we are the best. It takes a village. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Robinson. That completes the public hearing. Next order, Madam Clerk.
Motions for posting and referral.
All right, those will be duly posted and duly referred. Next order.
Councilmember Chick has requested to be excused city business to leave at 11:45, Wednesday, April the 8th. The motion is required.
All right, is there a unanimous vote? Next order.
Councilmember Savornich has requested to be excused personal business, April 17th and 24th, to leave at 11:30, May 29th, to leave at 11:30, city business on May 12th and 22nd. All dates meet council policy.
All right, those are approved. Next order.
Councilmember Walters has requested to be excused vacation, May 27th, 29th, June 2nd, 3rd, and 5th. All dates meet council policy.
Those are approved. Next order.
The desk is clear, Mr. President.
All right, are there any adjourning motions? Would the audience of the council please rise for adjourning motions? Mr. Hernandez?
Yes, Mr. President, members of the council, I ask that we adjourn to the name of Minnie Marie Mitchell. She passed away on the 26th of March. She was 78 years old. She leaves basically 4 children, 3 sons, a daughter. I don't know if you all remember Liz Diaz on my staff. She was one of my chiefs, but it was her mother-in-law, and she's sorely being missed.
I'd like to second that. Are there any others? Call the roll, Madam Clerk. Council is adjourned.